You don't need a certification to build a coaching business. I'm going to share with you the 3 things today that you actually need to build a coaching business. If you've been sitting on the sidelines of building a coaching business because you think you need to have a certification, today I'm going to save you thousands of dollars and months of time in your life. I've built a coaching community called I Love Coaching, and I've worked with hundreds of coaches, and not one of them had to get a certification to get their first paying clients. Not one of them. So what I want you to do is stay with me here, because I'm going to share with you some things that the certification industry does not want you to know. So you see, I didn't come from a coaching industry. Sure, I'd been coached my entire life through the tennis world. My father was an Olympic swim coach. So from that standpoint, you can say I came from that coaching industry. I came from the Keller Williams Realty franchise world. I had 3 franchises myself. I had a SaaS model called Recruiting Bridge. I ran offices with hundreds of people. When I stepped in the coaching world, I had 0 certifications. What I had was results that I had produced, a story that I had lived, and a burning desire to help and serve people build something that was actually theirs. And what did that ultimately become? The I Love Coaching community. And what I've watched inside of that community over and over and over again is coaches with certifications, they get stuck most of the time. And coaches with 0 credentials getting paid because they understood something the certification industry doesn't want you to know. And I'm going to share that with you right now. The main reason you don't need to be certified, because, drum roll please, nobody client-wise is asking for one. Here's the truth. The certification industry never will put that in their marketing. Your clients are not shopping for credentials. What are they shopping for? Very simply, results. Nobody has ever hired a coach and said, let me see your certification first. They simply hired a coach because they're stuck, and what do they want? To get unstuck. They believe that a coach can help them do that. That's it. And that belief transfer happens through your story, your results, and your ability to speak to the problem where that client is right now, not through a piece of paper on your wall. Now, let me be crystal clear here. Certifications are not wrong. If you want one, go get one. To be honest, I'm a John Maxwell certified coach. But if you're using the absence of a certification as the reason you haven't started your business yet, that's not a strategy. That's just fear wearing a disguise. Let's be real. And I've actually seen it cost coaches more than a year of their life of waiting to feel ready when, quite frankly, they were already ready. I'll give you an example of certifications back in my tennis days. You see, the USTA, United States Tennis Association, they had what was called the professional certification process. And basically what that meant back in the day, this was the early 2000s, you could be a master pro, which was the very top. And then I think it went P1, P2, P3, and maybe all the way down to P4. Now, the coaches that were at Beverly Hills Tennis were not USPTA certified, because here's the way that I looked at it. Those coaches had clients coming back to them over and over again. Why? Because the clients were getting something from those coaches, which caused them to come back. Now, the USTA came in and said, we want to certify your pros. So I went to the pros and I said, hey, the USPTA wants you to become certified. Do you want to become certified? And I had to pause for a second and tell these coaches, certification is not going to bring you any more money. Certification might actually make you have less money coming to you because you have a lower certification number. And what pros would do is they would put that number next to their name on their business card. And of course, the pros egotistically said, I want to do this. Majority of them did. There wasn't one that came back from the testing that said they were a P1. They were all P2s and P3s. And I think we even had one P4. And I had to reassure them that this wasn't going to impact the business of the clients that they currently already had. Because the clients that were coming back to them were the people who were getting something from them, and they didn't care if they had a certification or not. So let's transition into the 3 things that you actually need. Thing number 1, and very simply, is you need to have lived the results. You need to have been somewhere where your clients want to go. That's it. Not a perfect journey, not a flawless story, just a real one. I came out of the KW world with a story that wasn't overly pretty, but it was mine and it was real, and it gave me the right to speak into the lives of people trying to build something of their own. What's your results? What have you done? What have you survived? What have you built or overcome that someone else is desperately trying to figure out right now. That's your credentials. That's more powerful than any certification on the planet. And this is how I started my coaching career, is I just took what I had done, the results that I had had. And when I started this back in 2019, it was in the recruiting space. I had lived it. I had eaten it. I had breathed it. I had been a recruiter, one of the top recruiters in all of Keller Williams. I had built our companies. I built a recruiting software. So that is what I had lived. And guess what? That's what I had results in. And that's what people hired me for. Now let's go to thing number 2. And this is probably one of the most important ones. And that is a clear offer. Most coaches don't have a client problem. They have an offer problem. They're vague and they say things like, I'll help people become the best versions of themselves, or I help entrepreneurs reach their potential. That's not an offer, you all. That's simply just a feeling. A real offer has a specific person, a specific problem, and a specific result for them. When someone hears your offer, they should immediately think, that's exactly me. Or on the flip side, that's not me at all. We want to attract who we're supposed to attract and detract who we're supposed to detract. And quite frankly, vague attracts nobody. Specific attracts the right people every single time. You don't need a certification to build a great offer. You simply just need clarity in your offer that the client needs. I'll give you an example. When I started in the recruiting coaching space, my simple offer was how to recruit 15 people a month. Period. Stop right there. Everything you need to know is in that title offer. How to recruit, how many? 15 people in what time frame? A month. As you look at the I Love Coaching community, we have a challenge that we do every single month called the 10K coaching offer, because we know that coaches want to make $10,000 a month and they need it in an offer space. And so that's what we teach them. The third thing that you need is the ability to have a real conversation. This is the one that no one talks about. Coaching clients do not come from funnels. They definitely don't come from certifications. They simply come from real conversations. And those real conversations, that's where you ask good questions. You listen. And this is where you ask really good questions. And what else do? You listen deeply. And you reflect back when you hear what they're saying. And you make the person in front of you feel completely seen. And that's a skill you develop by simply doing it, by simply having real conversations, and not by studying in the classroom. The coaches who are in our community are the ones that are out there, and the ones that are having the most success are the ones that are out there having real conversations. And they're having real conversations over and over and over again. It's a contact sport. This thing 3 is you understanding that this is a contact sport, and contact equals conversations. And those conversations are not the most polished ones. They're not the perfect ones. They are simply the most. They're having the most conversations. You want the real growth engine of your business? It's the volume of conversations that you are having. Again, I'll give you an example of how I started. I started with building a group inside of Facebook called The Art of Recruiting. People knew that when they came in there, we were going to be having conversations around recruiting, period. From day one of me creating it to probably, I think, 8 months into it, it grew to 1,500 people. That group is where I got to have real conversations over and over and over and over and over again of me being positioned to be the authority in that space of recruiting. Now, if you're sitting there thinking right now, okay, I have the results. I know who I want to help. I just don't know how to package it and get paid for it. No problem. That's exactly what I want to help you with right now. Very simply, I've created an offer sheet, a freebie, if you will, called Get Paid to Coach. And all you have to do is go to ilovecoachingco.com and click the Start Now button. And I want you to download that. Download that, and you'll be able to answer through those 10 questions on there how to establish yourself to get paid for everything that you've already been doing. Everything that you have experienced, you can step into and get paid for. You see, you already have everything you need to start. The idea of having a certification was never the thing standing between you and your first client. You simply were. And now you know. So what I want you to do, I want you to go download that freebie called Get Paid to Coach and go plug into that. Once you see how simple it can be to go get paid for all the stuff that you've already experienced, and you can step in the path of the people that need to have that experience, you too can get paid to coach. I'll see you next time. See you. Bye.